Hey, why is this on screen? Hey, how's it going? Actually, here you go. There you go. Welcome to The Rational Live. It is The Rational Live. It is Friday, October 21st, and I have some stories to get to. So I am on time, almost. That's a good thing. Doesn't normally happen. Someone smoking a joint? No. If I did that before stream, I don't think it would go very well. But good to see everybody here. Before I get into everything, remember to hit subscribe below on YouTube. Subscribe button's right there somewhere. And also like the video. It helps the algorithm. And if you would like, I would like you to hit the bell notification icon so you know when I go live and you know when a video goes up. And I don't do, an overwhelming amount of content, so you will be notified only sparingly, so it's not going to annoy you on your phone. So hit that bell icon to be notified, and that helps me out as well. All right. Also, if you want to help the show out, super chats, which I'll be taking throughout. There's already one I'm going to read in a second. And also, where's my button here? therationalnational.com/join. That's the Patreon page. Links are also below the video in the description box on YouTube, so help me out. And we have a Discord there, so you join and there's a Discord link and you get a little Discord badge. So we got a fun little community growing on there. It's good. All right, Super chat. Lax Lifters says it's Friday. When the Rational National hits 1 million subs, can we have a ayahuasca ceremony meetup in Costa Rica? 1 million's a little close. I feel like, to be honest, I don't need that experience again. I had it once. Once was enough. I'm good. I got what I needed there. So it's not something you should just do willy-nilly. You should actually feel like you need to do it. And I had my experience. But you can go on my behalf and you have fun and tell me what you learned and how that all went. But 1 million subs, even though it's not really close. I mean, I'm another 500,000 subs away. But it is very hard to grow as a independent political YouTuber. Incredibly hard. My videos normally go out to just people that already subscribe. YouTube just recently did this thing where they you can go through this in their app. They show you how your videos compare to others based on certain metrics. So like the amount of people, or how long people stay on a video, typically leads to that video being recommended more. So if in a 50-minute video, for example, they showed that the popular videos that are out there, most people stay on those videos for about 7 minutes. I outperform those popular videos. It shows me doing 7 minutes and 40 seconds. Yet when I go to see who actually sees my videos, who views my videos, the vast majority are people that are already subscribed, which is unheard of in any other, YouTube industry. Like when it comes to gaming, tech, makeup, whatever it is, most views typically come from non-subscribers for obvious reasons. People just, stumble upon the video. But for political videos, it's the opposite, because they purposely suppress our content, which again, why it's so important to subscribe and hit that bell icon and share these videos as well. All right, losing my breath here. Let me get to a little preview of what is coming up. So Steve Bannon news. I mean, I might as well cover it. Came out today. So there's Steve Bannon stuff. Fox News was wrong again. I'll show you what that is about. And it is very clear how wrong they were. Also, a comedian confronts Herschel Walker. I'll show you what that is. Pretty funny. And I got some other stuff I didn't properly prep, but, we'll play the clips and have a good time. So let me begin. Let me begin with this first story. Bannon, because we all care so much about Steve Bannon. Former, my voice made a noise as I was burping out my water. Former Trump advisor Steve Bannon has been sentenced to 4 months in prison and fined $6,500 for defying a subpoena from the January 6th committee. But he won't be required to surrender until his appeal, which could take up to a year or more, potentially putting him on a path for another pardon from Donald Trump if Donald Trump happens to become president again. But I got some more to say about this. First, I'm going to show you a clip. Here is Bannon reacting to this, and this is just, of course, ridiculous.
On November 8th, there's going to have judgment on the illegitimate Biden regime, and quite frankly, the Nancy Pelosi and the entire committee. And we know which way that's going. Either they've already been turfed out, like Liz Cheney, right, or have quit, like Kinzinger and other the Democrats, or they're about to be beaten like Luria and others, or they will lose their power and become a minority, and Nancy Pelosi and Chairman Thompson, all of it. This is democracy. This is democracy. The American people are weighing and measuring what went on with the Justice Department and how they comported themselves. They're weighing and measuring that right now, and they will vote on November 8th.
Yes, I'm sure voters are very concerned about what's happening to Steve Bannon. That is what is motivating them. I mean, look, I'm sure some voters are, maybe, but if Democrats do fail in the midterms, it's not going to be because of Steve Bannon being sentenced to jail. I can tell you that. And also, he mentions there the illegitimate Biden regime. The Biden regime, really? Okay. And illegitimate, yeah, whatever. He's full of shit. So this actually could have been much worse for Steve Bannon. So this from Axios. The Department of Justice on Monday recommended that Bannon receive a 6-month jail sentence and a $200,000 fine, saying that the ex-advisor has pursued a bad faith strategy of defiance and contempt. Bannon's team had asked the judge to impose a sentence of probation instead of prison time. Between the lines, each count of contempt of Congress carries a minimum of 30 days and a maximum of 1 year in prison. The panel sought testimony from Bannon on his involvement in the efforts to overturn the results of the 2020 election. So getting off with just 4 months and a fine of $6,500 compared to what it could have been, pretty good. But even still, none of it may happen if this appeal goes through, or if it delays the entire process to the point where somebody may pardon him. But of course, that's far away. As is this. So there's more on Bannon. Steve Bannon's fraud trial is expected in November 2023, and that was over him allegedly defrauding donors to build a southern border wall. So, that I covered that at the time as well. He stole from Trump supporters, allegedly stole money from Trump supporters to fund the wall, yet the money was going to him and his buddies. And he still has people that care about what he has to say. Certain people, certain audiences, there's no way to get through to them. If anyone on the left did this, like defrauded their supporters, like used Bernie Sanders supporters to enrich themselves, they would be tossed away. But Bannon does it, and he is one of the most important voices on the right. It's pretty nuts, but it's good to see, I guess, some mild accountability, at least. All right. 3-shirt Steve, says Marcus. 3-shirt Steve. I mean, I could be called 5-shirt Dave, so I can't really criticize there. I have maybe 7 shirts that I rotate through. This one has done me well, usually on Fridays. This one absorbs a lot of sweat, so I usually pick this for the Friday streams. All right, let me quickly be right back as I prep this next story. It won't be too long. All right, I'm back. Let me maybe read through some chats before I get to this next story. Going to the top here. It's raining in Vancouver, says Buddy. Isn't that a normal thing that happens? I was in Vancouver a month ago, and it was 4 days. Surprisingly, did not rain at all, but it rained the day before we were there, and it rained the day after we were there. But as soon as I got there, it smelled like smoke. There was a time in my life where I thought it'd be nice to live on the West Coast, but with all the forest fires and just, smelling the wood in the air, something that I'm not really considering anymore. Oh, so 3-shirt Steve means he's wearing 3 layers of shirts. Let me see. I did not notice that. Okay. I mean, I guess, but I am wearing 2 layers, and if I had a coat on like he does, I'd have 3 layers on. 3 shirts, Steve. All right. That's probably the nicest thing anyone's ever said about him. You wear 3 shirts. There are a lot worse things you could say about Steve Bannon. All right. Also, I got some, I can't find it now, but someone thanked me for covering the stuff going on in BC with the NDP. Yeah. If you missed that story, it should be a much bigger story. That the BC NDP screwed over a leftist candidate more than any other party in like the UK or the US with the DNC and Bernie have ever done. They just flat out pushed her out of the race over trumped up charges that were about nothing. You have to, if you missed that after the stream, go watch that video on the BC NDP. It's like, I did it on Thursday, I think. You'll see it, but it's a crazy story. All right, let's get to this. Conservative media propagandists are being completely exposed for the clowns they are following the collapse of Liz Truss in the UK. So Truss is now a former British Prime Minister who was forced to resign after just 44 days in power, the shortest serving Prime Minister in British history. And 10 of those days, by the way, they were on pause because of the Queen's funeral. So, but she was pushed out or had to resign because of her strictly conservative policies tanking the economy. So before I get to the first video here of these clowns, Liz Truss, the least popular UK Prime Minister in the history of polling. So this is what Larry Kudlow had to say about Liz Truss and her brilliant economic policies back on September 24th.
The U.S. midterm elections cavalry arrived early in London. What do I mean by that? Well, the new British Prime Minister Liz Truss has laid out a terrific supply-side economic growth plan, which looks a lot like the basic thrust of Kevin McCarthy's Commitment to America plan. Let's start with Truss. She is slashing tax rates and deregulating energy. I just love it. That's the liberal business media. This is wonderful. The liberal business media, you know what I'm talking about, is now trashing her plan. That tells me Truss has it exactly right.
Yes, Truss has it exactly right. Exactly right. In a sane world, that clown would lose his job and never be hired in media again because of how clearly wrong he was. So I'm going to get to another example of a loser in a second. But so Kudlow is also the director of the National Economic Council during the Trump administration. So focused on economic policy. This is what he likes. This is the person that he wanted to support. Well, this is what her policies did. So initially, and these were reversed because they were so terrible, because they tanked the economy. They wanted to cancel the rise of the corporate tax rate from that was going to be from 19 to 25%, and also the removal of the 45% top rate income tax for high earners, which, of course, mini budget here shakes the stock market, benefits the wealthy. The new finance minister's tax cuts send the British pound to a 37-year low. Such brilliant economic policy, destroying the British economy. We got another example here. So I'm going to get to even more details on just exactly what the policies represented. But first here, this is Stephen Moore, former Trump economic advisor, again, going to how these people aren't just media figures, but are integral to the actual conservative movement. Stephen Moore, back discussing in September, discussing how awesome Liz Truss is.
There are some rays of hope. I love what Liz Truss is doing in England. I think it's exactly the right agenda of cutting taxes, reducing government spending, deregulating, moving back towards fossil fuels. It's exactly what the United States should be doing.
You're not seriously saying that Biden and the Democrats will cut taxes, lower regulation in the United States of America? They're not going to do that. They're going to do the exact opposite.
Not, except it's... No, sir, you're right. They're not going to do it. But you know what? As your and my friend Larry Kudlow would say, the cavalry is coming.
The cavalry is coming. All right. So he said there, exactly the right agenda. Because who does the agenda help? The rich. This is why, whether it's Kudlow or Stephen Moore, why they're not going to lose a job, why they're going to continue being asked on to these shows or being brought into administrations for Republicans. Because they are tools of the rich. They have a job to do, and that's the job that they do. And they do it well. They protect the rich, they serve the rich. So even when these policies clearly fail and destroy the economy, it doesn't matter as long as they are there serving the rich. And on that point, here's an analysis of what Liz Truss's policies were all about. So from Al Jazeera, Joe Maham, director of the Good Law Project, tweeted the budget means that those earning $1 million a year will have £54,400 or 60,000 US extra in their pockets. The rich, those earning more than $1 million a year, will have an extra 60 grand in their pockets and that's after tax and national insurance contributions. For those earning £25,000 or $27,000 US, the equivalent figure is about only £280 or 300 American. Hard to imagine a worse response to a cost of living crisis. And also worth mentioning, the government's tax cuts are expected to cost £45 billion by 2026, 2027. So this is why these morons keep their jobs, keep getting invited into administrations, because it's all about serving the rich. It doesn't matter what the actual impact is on the rest of society. All it matters is, who is this serving? Is serving the rich? Okay, cool, we'll keep you in. But it exposes just their entire agenda, how completely empty it is. All right. Losers making millions of dollars a year, just consistently being exposed for the clowns they are. It's crazy. All right. Fun stuff coming up now. So I'm looking forward to the next story. I will be right back as I quickly prep this. All right, back. Dole cover the Federalist, insane mask off moment. I heard something about, or I saw something about them on Twitter, but I didn't read into what's going on there. Maybe after this next story, I'll see what that is. Just remind me, because I will forget for sure. All right, let's do Herschel Walker. All right, freaking Herschel Walker. A comedian from the duo The Good Liars pulled one hilarious stunt following a Herschel Walker campaign event. Also in this video, though, I'm going to get to why you should not count Herschel Walker out, with some examples of how he is appealing to people and how similar it is to Trump in 2016, at least. So first, though, let's laugh, all right? So this is a amazing moment. And the original video had a country song that's copyrighted, of course, so I had to replace that music, but I think I replaced it with something that is a little fits the scene a little better. So watch this. All right. There you have one of the guys, the good liars, trying to hand condoms to Herschel Walker because he's got some history, and it's definitely hypocritical. So first, let me get to that before I get to why Herschel Walker, or part of why I think he is still in this race against Raphael Warnock in Georgia. But here they posted, a Herschel Walker rally can be scary. We brought protection. So, of course, Herschel Walker on his site says that he stands for conservative family values. A conservative man, a Christian man. And Christian, his son, we'll get to him in a second. But a father and a husband, Herschel knows that strong families are the bedrock of the country. Yes, of course. He grew up with a personal faith in God. So, of course, he's very anti-abortion. Extremely hardline views on abortion. He supports a ban on the procedure with no exceptions for rape, incest, or when the life of the mother is in danger. So if he has a choice, kill the mom. Kill the mom, save the fetus. Circumstances he describes as excuses. He has also repeatedly likened abortion to murder. We all know by now, Herschel Walker, in his own words, is a murderer. So he paid for an abortion. Also urged that same woman to have a second abortion that she ended up having the child with. He has 4 children with 4 different women. I don't care. Do what you want. It's his life. It's whatever. The issue is that he is trying to tell others how they should live their lives. That's the problem. That's the obvious hypocrisy here. And it is the ways that people have to tie themselves into knots to support Herschel Walker when they claim to be Christian, when they claim to care about the family values. Meanwhile, Raphael Warnock, he's a preacher. That should be the obvious choice there. But no, they're going to go with this guy who the only preaching he does is to tell you what not to do with your life, while he does that himself. And of course, his son has ripped him over these family values claim. But now let's get to this race, because he's still in it. It's 47-44 right now between Warnock and Walker. This is not over. Often, as we've seen with recent elections, many times pollsters appear to undercount the turnout for Republicans. So, based on that history, based on what we're seeing here, I think this is a very close race. Much closer, of course, than it should be. But I want to show you a couple of clips from campaign events here. One is one of the events that I showed that condom clip from earlier. But this is Herschel Walker speaking to an audience, and it gives you an idea of how he communicates, what he is talking about. And it may seem like a lot of bullshit, but I'm going to explain to you the nuggets within it that I think are appealing to his supporters.
Don't let them ride your bike no more, Senator. Get that saddle off your bike and straighten your bike up. You letting that president ride your bike. You doing everything they tell you to do. Hey, let me tell you, I don't dance and sing for nobody. I never have. I'm from Wrightsville, Georgia. The Lord has washed me in the blood of Jesus. So right now, I know I represent Georgia. And when I come out, I'm ready to represent Georgia today. You either like him or you don't like him. Or you don't want to come campaign with him. Now he's bringing Obama down. I go, whoa, that's another one. He's coming down, but he don't even live here. He made a lot of money too, didn't he? So what is he doing? What is he going to do here for us?
All right, so I think to a lot of people that sounds like just a bunch of gibberish, but look at how he is framing himself. It's very similar to what Trump did in 2016. Talking about, which of course, especially in Trump's case, was absurd, but talking about the rich and how they're disconnected, talking about Obama coming in to back, from the second clip, Obama coming in to back Raphael Warnock to campaign with him. Herschel Walker's making the point that Obama's not from here, even though Herschel Walker, my understanding, didn't move back to Georgia until last year. But regardless, think of the average person in the audience that is listening to this. You have someone here who is claiming to care about people in that state, in Georgia. Meanwhile, his opponent is bringing outside help, rich individuals like Obama that are disconnected. And in that first clip, he's talking about letting don't let the president ride your bike. As in, Warnock is allowing Biden to kind of take charge and take hold over Georgia. Now, of course, all of this doesn't mean anything, like like in any actual real sense. But to people listening who don't know any better, understand the appeal there. You have someone here who is running, in his mind, and what he is saying, for the people of Georgia. I represent you, not like this guy from Washington, not like this guy bringing in Obama. So this is, I think, what is helping his appeal here, because he can come off like your average guy. In some ways he is, just based on him not knowing anything about, how government works. But regardless, you have to be able, as somebody running against him, Warnock running against him, he has to be able to understand the appeal here and be able to push back against that with some actual, with what Warnock represents in terms of student debt cancellation, in terms of policies that have actually helped people in various ways. Now, of course, Biden has gone, nowhere near where he should in that sense, but there is still some things to hold on to there that he can campaign on. And abortion rights, again, I think also being an important piece there. But, Democrats right now are facing a situation where they can potentially lose the House and the Senate. The House, based on a lot of polling right now, it seems more likely. The Senate, though, also possible, especially when you still have people like Herschel Walker in these races and, not being completely left in the dust. So it's just Democrats have to understand how to appeal to the average person a little better. I think Herschel Walker understands that, and unfortunately, because of that, he's still in this race. All right. That video took a turn from some condoms to discussing the serious nature of Herschel Walker and his ability to maybe actually win. All right, I got some other stuff saved here. I don't think this is worth doing a video on, but let me bring some of this up. Oh yeah, the Federalist. So wait, what's happening here? I'm just seeing like chats bring up the Federalist. Oh, here we go. Now we're together. Otherwise, I'm just floating in space. All right. What's going on? Okay, I think I have to go to Twitter because nothing is popping up on Google. Alan says, Double D, my man. Hope you're doing well. I'm doing well. I hope you're doing well. All right, what's going on? Is this what you're referring to? Bringing this up now. You know what? I'll go small. There we go. Nathan J. Robinson here saying the Federalist article argues that the right should stop saying it cares about liberty/small government and just embrace the ruthless use of state power to persecute trans people, women who have abortions, and anyone who wants a divorce. This is where things are going. So yeah, this is fascist. All right, I'm not going to read through all this, but knowing Nathan J. Robinson, he's telling the truth. He's not full of shit. So let's grab a random paragraph. Another context, wielding government power will mean a dramatic expansion of the criminal code. It will not be enough, for example, to reach an accommodation with the abortion regime, to agree on reasonable limits on when unborn human life can be snuffed out with impunity. Okay. Drag queen story hours should be outlawed. That parents who take their kids to drag shows should be arrested and charged with child abuse. That doctors who perform so-called gender-affirming interventions should be thrown in prison and have their medical licenses revoked. And that teachers who expose their students to sexually explicit material should not just be fired, but criminally prosecuted. What? First, the way they twist, this is why I hate all this shit. The way they twist these definitions around these words. What's sexually, like, to them, sexually explicit material is like a rainbow flag. There is no actual explicit material being exposed to students in schools. But the existence of trans people or discussions around how different people identify differently and like different people, they may like the same sex, different sex, like that to them is explicit material. This is all disgusting. And understand these people have power, they have money, and this is also part of why it's important to take this shit seriously. Because you have to... I want to mention voting here, but I don't want to seem like, you know, voting's the be-all, end-all, because it isn't. But voting as a tool, as a defensive mechanism, is incredibly important. It's not just about, oh, there wasn't a person that supports everything I support, so I can't vote. That's fucking ridiculous. You have to understand what is at the doorstep. You have to be willing to vote as a defensive mechanism. Ensure these fascists are not going to take power. And they're getting very close. And this is the shit that they absolutely will do. For sure. You're already seeing it in Texas. Going after parents that care enough about their kids to actually get them the healthcare they need and the support they need. This shit is scary. So I hope people take this seriously, because this is not just the, you know, the writings of some lunatic. This is how these people think and operate and what they will do with their power. And then you have lunatics like Tulsi Gabbard, just a total psychopath, claiming she is for abortion rights while campaigning for extreme anti-abortion candidates. All right. Mr. Rabbit says David voting does something, but not again. I mentioned voting here because it's near the midterms. I didn't bring it up as the be-all end-all, as I specifically said. It's not the be-all end-all. But yes, people live in gerrymandered yes, of course. And how are they able to gerrymander? Because they got into power. So like it's still an important thing that you need to be involved in. It's one of the few tools that people have in a democracy. And very few people have the time to dedicate to actual organizing outside of their everyday lives. Many people have jobs where they work long hours. They have kids. So, yes, of course, do all the above. Do whatever's possible. But understand, it's not easy for some people to do more than what they're already doing. All right. I wanted to... Going from this to like anything else now just seems pointless because nothing else really matters. But this also shows you just the people that are willing to go along with it, regardless of what's happened in the past, how their lives were personally threatened. Here is Mike Pence, I guess, kind of making a joke, but he's not, again, not answering the question, and it's very clear that he would just fall in line if given, or when given the opportunity.
Mr. Pence, if Donald Trump is the Republican nominee for president in 2024, will you vote for him?
Well, there might be somebody else I'd prefer more.
People on January 6th they set up a noose for Mike Pence. And now the most he can do is, well, I'd maybe prefer somebody else. These people, the only people that, you know, may be able to do anything about this trash within the party, they have no backbone. And they will completely collapse to those that are willing to use their fascistic power. So, you know, Mike Pence sat there for 4 years doing shit all. The idea that anyone like him would do anything about this is insane. Just completely spineless, embarrassing. This came up, and I find this to be enlightening. From Pew Journalism, more Americans, especially young adults, are regularly getting news on TikTok. Here's the share of adults under 30 doing so in recent years. So, however you feel about this, this is reality. Meaning, there's got to be a lot more people on TikTok putting out real information, just to ensure that young people aren't going down, the wrong rabbit holes. So, as someone that has barely used TikTok, I can't even give any real input here. I have no idea what news looks like on TikTok. The most I've seen are like clips from Humanist Report. He actually has a TikTok. I've seen his stuff. It's great. It's from what I think, it's just clips from his regular show. But it's short enough that I think it's actually people may actually watch it. Apparently I think you can do up to 10-minute videos now on TikTok, but I can't imagine the audience there is really willing to sit through a 10-minute video about the news. So the only thing about how do you communicate a news story and educate people in a minute? That's impossible. You can't give proper context in a minute, but I guess there are ways to deliver, news in minute-long chunks, and I've seen a bit of that, again, from Humanist Report, from TYT. I've seen theirs as well. But I don't know. I'm not sure how to feel about this, because, I could be the old man saying, oh, kids are getting their news from the internet. That's the same as being angry about this. So it is what it is. It just means we have to be a little more aware of how to use that platform and educate people. Not me, though. I'm one person. So the idea of me being super engaged in creating TikTok clips, I'm going to have to, I don't know, get a friend or relative to do that for me, because it's too much to think about. Check in the chat here. Obama doing ads for Fetterman and Baines. I did see Obama do a Fetterman ad, actually. Maybe I'll bring that up. I saw that he did one. I didn't watch the video. I do question the effectiveness of Obama in some of these races.
To make this year. In Pennsylvania, you've got some important choices to make this year, including who represents you in the U.S. Senate. That's why I'm asking you to vote for John Fetterman this election day, November 8th. So when the fate of our democracy and a woman's right to choose are on the line, I know John will fight for Pennsylvanians. You can count on John Fetterman. Make sure he can count on you. Vote Democrat on November 8th.
All right. Pretty basic. Okay. Maybe that will do something. I don't know. I don't think it's going to hurt him necessarily, though maybe it will, considering Fetterman's potential appeal to more rural voters. But I don't know. There was also this. This is really good. Katie Porter is really good at this stuff, even though she doesn't have the perfect voting record. She is a fantastic communicator, especially on the issue of corporate power. So if you didn't catch this, let me play this for you.
According to this chart, what is the biggest driver of inflation during the pandemic? The blue is the dark blue is the recent period.
It would be corporate profits.
And what is that percentage?
It is 54%, and that number does stay that level of high if you update that number to more recent numbers as well.
So over half of the increased prices people are paying are coming from increases in corporate profits.
Yes, the unit price index is reflected in corporate profits as opposed to other costs.
And how does that compare to historically, to other periods of inflation or over other periods of economic time?
As reflected there and in other analysis, it is significantly higher in this recovery, 11.5%.
And what is it today?
53%.
So I want to make sure everyone in America understands this chart. What is a unit labor cost?
The cost, wages and associated work costs.
So we could just wages. What is a non-labor input cost?
A variety of things, including maintenance and investments.
Okay, so I have to buy the stuff to make the widget. I have to have a factory. I have to keep the lights on. I have to hire someone to make the widget. That's this stuff. And this is what I add on top.
All this talk around inflation. If you ever have these discussions in your life, like family, friends, make sure you bring up how these corporate profits are insanely high. How they are the ones that are raising prices, taking advantage of this situation as an excuse to raise their prices and pad their pockets. That's what they are doing. So, and by the way, this discussion, even like MSNBC and CNN aren't really having this discussion. Of course, Fox News isn't, but not many other mainstream outlets are either. So this is just the whole discussion around inflation and the cost of living is really, you have to include the corporate aspect into these discussions and what they are doing. Otherwise, you're not getting the full picture. All right. Yeah, I've heard this term too, greedflation. I'm not sure how. I get what it means. It makes sense, but I'm not the biggest fan of the word greedflation. But yes, that's what it is. It is greedflation. As Black Caucus writes, also this is literally how capitalism works. Yeah. And this is the stuff like they admit these things in their meetings. There have been reporters. Actually, I watched an Aaron Brown video, as I normally do. Check out Aaron Brown, great YouTuber. He played a video of I think it was a Yahoo News reporter, and it's like the only place he could find where they're having this discussion. But she mentioned how she's listening on these meetings that these corporations have, and yeah, they talk about taking advantage of the situation to raise prices, like they openly admit it, because they aren't thinking about the impact on society. That isn't their concern. They're thinking about what can we get away with? How much money can we make up to the point that we're still going to be able to sell what we're selling without it, without the raise in our prices hurting our ability to sell whatever we're selling. So these are discussions they have behind the scenes all the time, and that's how this works. Which is also why it's very important to decommodify every aspect of life that you can, to take it out of the hands of people that are looking for profit. I mean, healthcare is an obvious one, but you can go to the energy sector, you can go to housing. I mean, there are various industries that people are getting screwed in by these massive companies, and it's because they can get away with it. Gougeflation. We're also going to try a different terminology now to replace inflation. George Carlin and Bill Burr are top tier comedians. I agree. Yes. Yes, they are. This was a nice moment. See this? Tim Hogan here. My soul left my body at this moment. Let's watch this. This is from the governor's debate, Minnesota governor's debate.
Other than thanking them for being willing to serve in office.
I don't know why the audio... Is the audio loud enough? I think it should be. Okay, it's just low for me. I got to get a Chrome app where I can raise the audio level, but regardless, you should be able to hear this.
Other than thanking them for being willing to serve in office, what is one nice thing you can say about your opponent? We'll begin with Dr. Jensen.
I've thought about this question. I think Tim Walz is an affable individual who has a wonderful smile.
Thank you, Dr. Jensen.
Just like, has a wonderful smile. And then just a long pause. And the way he said it, like he's just like resigning to it. It's like, fine, I guess. He has a wonderful smile. By the way, stupid. What a stupid question. I don't think it's necessary to bring this up in these debates. Say one nice thing about your opponent. I mean, at best, I guess it's a funny. It could result in a funny moment like this, but at worst, it could turn horrible individuals into someone to be humanized. So, like, if a Republican has a good answer to that, and they seem human, that can fool a lot of people into thinking they are human when they're not. But whatever. Seems to be a question that I've seen pop up now in multiple debates. James says, I think they bring it up as saying, would you invite this person as a guest in your home? Yeah, just dumb shit like that. I don't. Leah likes the question. It shows a lot about the candidates. I guess. It's just like in a job interview, what's your worst quality? It's like, okay. It's just, they're questions that the answers are always rehearsed. So it's never natural regardless. Like, it's one thing if you actually got a natural answer out of anybody, but they're not. They're all just fake ass answers. Then again, we all have weaknesses. So just a matter of how honest you are about those in a job interview. Steph S says, I'm too chatty. Who knew? Yes, I care too much. That's my weakness. I care too much about the job. I stay there, stay working extra hours, and I don't charge the company those hours because that's my time. I care too much, so I won't charge you for those hours that I work. Yeah, just shit like that. It's just so stupid. Okay, I don't know. Short live stream today. Just, I don't know. The news is boring. There's not much going on. I mean, there's a lot going on, but in terms of shit that I can break down during a live stream and not a proper, prepared segment that took me 6 hours to put together, just a little of a different beast. But I don't know. Let's see what's going on. Got some time here. Let me. Here we go. Check out this thing. Look at this, folding the clothes. This machine, the Foldy Mate, can fold your laundry into neat piles. Wow. I wonder how much this thing costs. Oh my God, I apologize. Of course, the volume I don't need is blasting. Everything else is super low. Is there a price on this thing? $960. Yeah, you can forget about it. I don't care about I don't care about automatically folding my clothes that badly. No, thank you. But what else is going on? Okay, I just saw, I don't know, should we watch this? It's Charlie Kirk. It's Charlie Kirk. I'm going to wait for responses. Should I watch a Charlie Kirk video? If I get mostly no's, I will not watch it. If I get mostly yes, then I have to. RM Brown is live right now? On my time? That's some bullshit. More like bullshit Brown. I said it. What a mean individual to take up my time on a Friday. I could be watching RM Brown right now, but instead I'm doing this. regardless, I'm getting off soon. But Aaron Brown is great. Can't deny it. Sorry, I just can't deny it. He does really good stuff. I don't know. The news is slow today, guys. Just not much going on. Let me check some other headlines, and then I'm probably going to get out of here. Oh, wait, what was the response on Kirk? I'm seeing LOL. I'm seeing no. I'm not seeing much excitement for Charlie Kirk, so we can forget about him. Dacre says Dave, more shows Monday to Friday. I have been doing more live streams, so I have been doing more shows. Also, I am now back as an affiliate on Twitch, meaning I'm doing more Twitch. So make sure you follow me at twitch.tv/TheRationalNational. Link to that, I think, is below this video in the description box. So hit that follow button on there and subscribe if you want to support me on Twitch. Definitely doing more of that. Car Wash Freak, a great individual, I have to say, says we have to take a sec of state seriously. These election deniers are dangerous. Bernie going to 8 states to campaign. Yes, Bernie is doing more work than Biden. I mean, Biden's a president. He's got stuff to do. But Bernie is definitely going on the ground, going around trying to get people out, talking about economic issues because he understands that. I mean, you look at polling. I guess the interest in women losing their rights has slowly waned. Somehow, people are weird. Like, you just don't care anymore after a few months. It's perfectly fine. But other issues are definitely taking precedent. So it's good to see Bernie out there talking about that stuff. But yes, this is an important midterm for sure. I'm seeing lots of yeses. Yeses to what? Live stream or yeses to Charlie Kirk? I think we're over Charlie Kirk now. Forget it. Cheyenne says, hey, my boyfriend loves your channel. It's his birthday. Can you please give him a shout out, please? His name is Nick. Well, happy birthday, Nick. I hope you have a good birthday. Yeah, now I'm catching your bullshit. All right. Luckily, I didn't say the full name. I just said Nick. Well, any Nicks out there that have a birthday, enjoy your birthday, Nick. We are wired to worry about immediate problems. Yeah, we are. I don't know. It's a thing I've noticed. People just tend to care less. When people get used to the society they're living in. So if shit goes bad and it continues going shitty, they're just used to it and they don't care anymore. I don't know. It's hard to understand or get people to how do you get someone to care about rights, their own rights and women's rights and just rights generally? How do you get them to care if a clear example where the rights have been stripped away has occurred and they did care and now less people care? It's just, I don't know. I don't know how you solve that problem. All right. See, the issue now is I can never wish anybody a happy birthday ever again because I'll be too skeptical of of what I'm about to read. It's just terrible. Terrible people. All right. I'm good. I gotta go. I will likely be on Twitch this weekend, though. So, or maybe even tonight, actually. So stick around for that later on. But thank you all for showing up and have a good night. Goodbye.